Right. Evening, ladies and gentlemen. Tooblack. Yeah. So, today, we're going to focus on these guys. If you can focus on them, it might happen, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Here we go. Right. Let's get to it. Right, today we're going to talk about division, ladies and gentlemen. You understand what it is? Divide and rule. So this talk is for the little boys and the little girls, the monkey people who don't know about division, divide and rule. So you're going to make it simplified, as we always do, so you don't make any mistakes. Okay? So that's the symbol for division. What it does mean is you take something that's whole, that is functioning properly, presumably, that's autonomous, independent. You take man, for instance, who is aware of himself and what he's doing. He's aware of his environment because he studied nature for thousands of years. He understands the luminaries above him. He knows when to plant and harvest. So he's got all this to a T. He knows how to travel using his mind. All right. So once that's the completion. This is a complete man, and then something comes in and causes a division, so that you have 2 points instead of the 1 point. Okay. This stupid thing. So that's where you get the division symbolism from. Okay. So it simply means, boom, some comes in, he finds you whole, he pollutes, what's the word for it? He introduces other things into your psyche, and then these other things start battling with the original thing that was there. That is the division. Okay? So whereas before people had a positive mental attitude towards their environment and themselves and their neighbors, as it were, right? Somebody came in and introduced a negative mental attitude. Whereas initially you had love as a predominant psychological disposition, somebody came and introduced fear. All right. So now you have 2 energies battling. All right. Within the same body. This is your body. It's your body, and there's 2 energies fighting in there. You have the positive energies. They're saying to you that everything's gonna be all right. Everything's gonna be all right. Or everything is all right. Everything is cool. This is it's not permanent. Everything is transitional. Life is change. And then something introduces fear and say, no, you should fear everything is not all right. Everything's not gonna be all right. Everything's not cool. Something bad's gonna happen right now. In the next 45 minutes, you're gonna be bombed. You see, by weapons of mass destruction. Get ready now. Go. Get your weapons. Go and get them. You see, it's always a fear of something. You're gonna lose your job tomorrow. Oh, you're gonna lose your house. You're gonna lose your kids. You're gonna lose your partner, your wife, your whatever you hang on to. There's always that fear. Whatever you attach to emotionally, you always have a fear of losing it because you like the emotion that the attachment creates inside of you, and you can't imagine doing without it. Once you learn how to do without emotional attachments, you go back to a complete circle. That's your journey. All right? So little boys and little girls, the way it comes across is if I could get this thing to do the thing that it needs to do and go up a sec there. That's what I'm talking about. Right? So who is responsible for the reversion of culture from a culture of unconditional love for the whole into this dog-eat-dog society? Who reversed it and who introduced it into human psyche? Whereas for the men and the women who have been studying this, and they have the knowledge, they know, and we won't go into it today, how it came to be that it is, and who is doing what. We know who they are, but we won't deal with that right now. We're just going to put it plainly, who's doing it and how it's being done. You see, because once you have the knowledge, you can choose to either accept it or reject it, but you do have it. Then we live in a plane of choice. If you choose to ignore it, well and good. If you choose to take it and do something about it, well and good as well. Okay? The sun shines on the wicked and the righteous equally. So the sun is going to shine on your what some people call the oppressors equally. So don't sit there and imagine that's going to be changed if you don't do something about it. That somehow some strange a god from the clouds is going to save you. You're living in a dream, right? The symbolism for I say alchemy is that the triangle, square, and the circle. A circle represents feminine energy. The square represents masculine energy. I don't know what the triangle represents. Somebody else does. They might let me know. Okay. So the feminine energy being the circular energy, which is transcendental, it's instinctive, it's creative. The masculine energy is orderly and empirical. So everything is science, and we have to study, and we have to. It's a whole bog. Anyway, that's masculine energy. All right. I don't know what this is. I presume this is the one-eyed energy. But in any case, the current sign for alchemy is that. I'd like to see it this way or something else, because what this means is that the triangle encompasses the masculine and the feminine energy. So this third, whatever it is controlling both masculine and feminine energies. Ideally, I'd like to have it that way. So the feminine energy is a circular energy above all. Okay. So, culprits. This is how it's done. So number one, you have your what is this thing? This thing keeps playing up. Okay. CPR. I hope you can see that. Or is it too far away? I think it's alright. CPR. Okay. This is it. So the so Amor, and then the guys come in and they introduce the new one. Right? So religion, politics, culture, and religion. So these are the three tools put in use to brainwash the people and the masses and to keep them under control and to stop them from achieving their potential, the maximum potential. That's the whole game. If I keep you busy doing things that are irrelevant to you, or if I make you believe that you need me to survive, I'll waste your time digging holes every day. Okay, and that's what most people do: dig holes and fill them in with dirt at the end of the day. That's what most of us do because of our culture, our politics, or our religions. Right? Now, religion. Think about that. So, where does this stuff come from? Right? Where does it come from? Now, when these characters came into play, what they did was ransack the libraries of the all the cultures of the world. So they went and gained a whole bunch of knowledge, and then they twisted that knowledge round to produce hate and fear into the world, and they used religion to do it. So they created a press, right? So they created what's called a printing press. And the press is still doing its work today. Propaganda, right? Now what did they press? What they pressed was some Masonic material called tarot. So these are, I think, anyone who's interested, never heard of tarot or tarot, or tarot. You can look it up and see where it is. So from the tarot, after a few thousand or 100 years, they created something, a mirror image of that, which they call the Torah. Okay? So they peddled this for a while, propagated it. At some point, they revised this one and called it a Helios Biblia, or the Sun Book, or the Sun Libraries. Okay, so this one brainwashed a whole bunch of people. They use this book to murder, kill, rape, and do a whole bunch of pillaging. And after a while, they decided, okay, fine, let's introduce something else. And they introduced something else, which carried on doing the same thing. It's brainwashing people into believing that a man in a beard wearing a skirt is is the channel through which you, a filthy old sinner, right, can gain access to the God. Right? So that's the point. That salvation lies, your salvation lies in the hands of somebody else. Okay? So that's your religions for you. Religion is Freemasonry. The sign is simple. Freemasonry is this sign. Skull and bones, that's a sign for Freemasonry, and it'll be depicted in various ways. But it's a C and the star. C being number 3. 5-pointed star. Head, leg. Head. Do it like 5-pointed star. Could be Vitruvian man as well. See, this is where you stand in what some people call the Jesus pose. It's a 5-pointed star, because your arms are stretched and your legs. Star jumps in training, gym, same stuff. Okay. And it goes like that. So you read it this way. So for some religions, you'll find this being the clock, and the 5 points of the star, they'll be expected to isolate themselves or find a location somewhere where they can conduct some prayers. Alright? This is what it is. So religion is a tool created by the Freemasonry characters to brainwash people to believe that, listen guys, just endure us exploiting you, because guess what's going to happen once you die? Once you die, you're going to receive your blessings or presents after that. That's the entire game. And people fell for this shit. All right. So religion, that's one of the tools used to brainwash people. And then you have obviously culture, right? Now in this culture here, you have your gladiator bullshit. So this is when the thieving, you call him a Caesar, or thieving servant of the people, when he was doing his shenanigans, he would keep the masses busy. So he'd create an event. So he called people with big muscles who could fight very well and put them in an arena, right? And say, pay them some money to fight to the death, or fight some animals, some wild animals, to entertain these morons who find these things actually entertaining. That people killing each other, killing animals. And that's, for some people it is. Some people cannot get a hard on unless there's blood. That's how depraved people are. But that's what it is. So the Caesar man used to do that. So he's still doing it today. So when they do their the crooked deeds, they'll have their entertainment and fill the morons in the stadiums. Alright, so number 1 is sports. This is for little kids, and sports and games. Right? So that's the culture. Sports and games. So that grown men and women, presumably supposed to be intelligent, are playing sports and games in their adulthood. Sports and games are things you do when you're a child. So when you grow up and become a man, there's certain things you stop doing as a man, and that is sports and games, childish things. You see, you don't do things you're doing at 14 or 13 when you're 50. For instance, if you're drinking cider with your friends in the park when you're 13, okay, that's one thing. And if you're still drinking cider with your friends in the park when you're 40 or 50, you're in a loop. Alright? So there's some things you need to grow out of and keep it moving. Alright? Move your ass. Alright? So you gotta support your games and your fashion. Right? That's a culture. Fashion. Someone who you'll never get to meet will decide what you wear and how you look and who's in fashion and who's not. So that you have boys wearing skirts and tights with their asses jiggling in the streets now, because that's the fashion. A whole bunch of BS, if you ask me. Then you have your entertainment, right? And your music industry. So entertainment in various forms, your gamblings and all this shit. Then you have your music and your the other one. There's 2 of them. Don't think of it now. But there's music down the other one. But these are the brainwashing tools, right? Now all these people here, people in sports, and the games, and the fashions, and the entertainment, and the music, anyone that you see in your magazines who has any what is it called, celebrity status, every one of those people is a member of these characters here, right? Or these ones here, because they have taken oath. You sign the contract before they are given access to big houses, big cars, and international fame, as they call it, they have to sign a contract. And the contract means you stop being yourself, we're going to create an image for you, and we're going to sell this image in whichever way we please, and that is it. And you have no say in it. Period. You're done. All right? So anyone who's got little boys and little girls, the men, grown men and women don't engage in any of these. However, little boys and little girls, we encourage you not to get emotionally involved in these things. Understand what they are. These are Freemasons who are trying to gain your attention, right? And who are these Freemasons? People say Freemasonry, right? Freemason. All right. So we got the Roma on top, and through they bring their crap down through the Freemasonry. And the Freemasonry are people who free themselves. So they free themselves from Ma'at. Right? Now Ma'at has got principles which are to do with circle, and it specifies conduct that if you engage in will keep you centered, and will make sure upon your death that you will that you won't be recycled. Put it like that. You won't come back here on this plane to do it again and try and clear out your karma or the wrongs you've done or the pain you've caused other people. Right? So these characters decided that no, they want to create order out of chaos. So we'll create chaos and then create order after it. But their kind of order is the kind of order where there's a man wearing a black uniform, he's wearing a balaclava and he's got a gun. That's the kind of order he's talking about. So it's not the order you think of. But we see it regularly now. And they're trying to acclimatize people to this characters running around in black with ski masks. You see, and helmets. You see, so I don't know who they're fighting, but that's the point. They're trying to frighten people to imagine, to live in fear, to imagine that there is some terrorist is going to jump up and try and kill you. I tell you what, if some terrorist found his way all the way from a cave in Afghanistan, and he found his way all the way to where I am, and he try and stab me or run me down with his car or try and do whatever he's trying to do, I'll slap the head out of him. I'll slap the dust out of him. So I don't need a man in a ski mask to protect me. So you can F off with that BS. Right, what else? The culture is a culture of dog eat dog as well. It's a very depraved culture, which can have, for instance, we can pretend or we can say that we care, right? Because before, the feminine energy is a caring energy. The masculine is not so much caring. That's why it's more likely that your mom's going to care for you more than your dad will, because the feminine energy is a caring energy. And these characters here want to remove the care, and they want everybody to be automatic, automatons, operating on their orders. I don't think so. We can do without your orders. What was I talking about? Right. Now the culture is a culture whereby you say you care, but in a television set, in 1 minute you can show a starving child, and then the next minute you show a food fight. Right. And you say that you case bullshit. Right? This is a depraved culture. It's the only culture in the world since time began. Nothing has been known like it. But this is the only culture that I saw a film once where there's a woman who's kneeling in the park, and there's about 50 men who are lined up, right? And they're coming to how they put it, they're coming to do something over her head, and at the end of it, she ends up looking like a like she's covered in icing from head to toe. Now this is the only culture that'll have anything like this. You see, it's very mysterious. It's the only culture that promotes pedophilia, because this guy here is a big shot when it comes to that. So right now you have 5-year-olds being sexualized or introduced to things they have no knowledge of, and they're carrying on with it. You see, as though they don't care. But guess what? They're gonna wake up pretty quick because their bullshit is over now. Yeah, I'm gonna run them down. We're gonna run them into the ocean. So they free themselves of Mart. They don't care about wholeness, right? They care about perpetrating fear and brainwashing the masses with their stupid symbols. Right. The third one is the politics of it. Right. Now politics is the same as the rest of it. Right. The politician will never do anything for anyone. A politician has never done anything for anyone in this existence. Right. What people need to understand is this: a politician is there to represent, right? Represent, not even present for, but to represent the constituency, not the people. He's there to represent the roads and the buildings, things like that. Make sure electricity is there. Make sure there's no congestion, there's no holes in the pavement. That's what the politician is there to do. That's his entire job. It's got nothing to do with living people. How many times they have to... Right. A politician, number one, is the one who's going to make minister or cabinet minister. If he's going to make prime minister, the prime obia man, the prime voodoo man, this guy, it's going to have to be something called a lawyer. Otherwise, right? The houses of parley is full of lawyers, because that's where they all end up, right? Now, a lawyer, for the men and the women, they know who this guy is. But if you never knew what a lawyer was, this is who he is a liar, like a Tony Blair. You see, that's a lawyer, right? They're members of a cult. Okay, the Masons, it's a sex cult. Freemasonry is a sex cult, right? And it's to do with obelisks and phalluses, right? And the resurrection of Osiris and the resurrection of the penis. Alright, so Freemasonry is a sex cult. Make no confusion about it. That's why you testify, right, on your nuts. That's why women don't testify, because they have no nuts to testify on. You gotta put your nuts on the table and say that you're telling the truth. Otherwise they get chopped off. That's the only way to get people to tell the truth. Alright? So that's what it is. So a politician is a lawyer is a liar. Right? And a lawyer is also a member of a private members guild that's taken an oath to fuck you up by any means necessary in order to get money. Alright? Now, these lawyers, who comprise liars, who comprise politicians, they have created these legal fictions called governments. Governments don't exist. There's no government. The government is an empty building, right?